Speaker, for 3 weeks, MPs, staff, members of the public, we all walked through that protest in downtown Ottawa for 3 weeks.
That's right.
Meanwhile, this government is claiming that the national security threat was so serious, so dangerous, that it couldn't be addressed using any other law. But if that's the case, how are we all permitted to walk through that protest every day? Either, Mr. Speaker, there wasn't a real threat and they were just overcompensating for their incompetent management of the protest, or, Mr. Speaker, or they were knowingly putting us all in danger, Mr. Speaker. Which one was it?
Yeah, which one?
The Honourable Minister of Public Security.
Mr. Speaker, with great respect to my colleague, she knows full well that the Rideau Centre was completely shut down, that small businesses were shut down. She knows full well that Ottawa residents were unable to get to work, unable to drop their children off at daycare. And if she doesn't take my word for it, listen to the Canadian Association of Chiefs of Police, who said, and I quote, "The Emergencies Act is critical to assisting law enforcement in addressing the mass national and international organization of the Freedom Convoy 2022. Close quote, Mr. Speaker. We invoked it because it was necessary, and it worked.
The Honourable Member for Lethbridge.
Well, to adequately justify the use of the Emergency Act, the government must demonstrate that there is not an already existing law in place that could deal with this so-called emergency. Since the Prime Minister invoked the Act on February 14th in response to the Ottawa protesters, I have to assume that there is in fact good evidence that procedure was followed. But to know for certain, we need access to certain documents that are held by Cabinet right now. The Prime Minister is hiding behind secrecy. Now, this is strange for a Prime Minister who is committed to openness and transparency. So the question really is, why the cover-up?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, we've been transparent all along about the reasons why we needed to invoke the Emergencies Act. We debated that motion right here in this chamber, and it's very discouraging to hear the members of the Conservative Party continue to diminish and downplay the severity of the national emergency which beset this community, multiple ports of entry. And again, if they don't want to take it from the government, listen to what the President and CEO of the Surrey Board of Trade said in British Columbia. Quote, "An unacceptable sabotage of the economy." Quote, "The impact of these blockades is choking already impacted supply chains." Mr. Speaker, I would encourage and urge my Conservative colleagues to speak to Canadians.
The Honourable Member for Sturgeon River Parkland.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I certainly hope that's not the evidence this government's hoping to rely on. During the appointment process for the Emergency Act inquiry, which led to the selection of Justice Trudeau, can the Minister of Public Safety confirm, did any minister or members of their political staff speak with the judge before his appointment? And if so, did they discuss what kind of evidence the inquiry would or would not seek, including documents covered by cabinet confidentiality or solicitor-client privilege?
Okay. The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, with regards to my colleague's original comment about him not wanting the Commissioner and the Parliamentary Committee to consider the testimonials, the lived experiences of Canadians, including the President of business improvement areas, small business leaders, ordinary Ottawans who live outside of this chamber, I would encourage him to revisit his position. We are listening to Canadians about the impacts of the illegal blockades, Mr. Speaker, and of course, Judge Rouleau will carry out his inquiry independently, transparently, to ensure there's accountability on this decision. Thank you.